Good afternoon. My name is Jason McCandless, and it is my honor to serve as the Superintendent of the Pittsfield Public Schools and as the President of the Berkshire County Superintendent's Roundtable. In his 1986 Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech, Elie Wiesel said, "We must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere." It's this notion of interference I want us to consider today. Even as I enter my 15th year as a superintendent, I still occasionally find myself very confounded and somewhat awkward in conversations. While I consider myself a professional communicator, when my beliefs and assumptions about how our world should work are challenged, I can get tongue-tied and completely flustered. I was raised in a religious home where the most basic tenet was the command to love your neighbor as you love yourself. There are really two keys to understanding this notion. We should love ourselves. We were created to be worthy of love and worthy of respect. And every other human being on this earth is a neighbor, not just those who look like us or live as we do. Despite nearly 50 years of learning and living these notions, I still at times find myself speechless, without words or ideas, and ultimately without the courage to speak up for what I know is true and what I know is right. I have been well trained at home and in school. I have 3 degrees, all of which focused much attention on justice, peace, and the duty of educators to deliver these precious commodities to their students and those they serve. But still, I can get knocked back into silence by some who express a lack of tolerance, a lack of understanding, a lack of realizing their privilege, a lack of seeing their own biases, and just a plain lack of love for their neighbors. I am very grateful to the Jewish Federation of the Berkshires for bringing the ADL's World of Difference program to Berkshire County, to each of our individual schools and to our individual students. I thank all involved for helping our students find and refine their voices as people of power who do not need to wait until they are 20 or 30 to make a difference. Thank you for helping our children learn these skills and learn the attitudes that allow them to be agents of change and make a difference in their community right now. With your support, students are gaining the skills and confidence needed to promote fairness and dignity for every single student in our schools and community. This toolkit, designed to help students stand up for themselves and to stand up for others, is a toolkit they can use for good now. And when they are partners, parents, employees, employers, and leaders, it will serve them well no matter where they go for the rest of their lives. The power of one voice to speak out against bias, to speak out against hate, to speak out against making one human being feel less than another has great power. Many voices working together in concert can counter misunderstanding and ignorance. Many voices together can overcome the hate, the blindness, and the violence. But it all starts with the courage and the tools to interfere. Our students are growing up in an amazing age. Most of them carry more computing power in their pockets than NASA possessed to get humans to the moon. Cars are on the verge of driving themselves. We live in an age where it is easier than it has ever been in the history of humankind to be connected to people in our own home and across the planet. And while we live in an age with an unparalleled ability in communications, increasingly we struggle to actually communicate. We live in an age when the very tools that can serve to unite us and deliver understanding are often used to hurt, to shame, to divide, or to spread hate. Intolerance and ignorance can now travel at the speed of light, unrestricted by geography, borders, or distance. But understanding can travel unrestricted as well. So can peace and the message of love and respect, understanding, and togetherness. Our youth have the power to leverage this power for good. They have the power and the opportunity to do better and to be better than those who have traveled the earth before them. On behalf of the Berkshire County Superintendent's Roundtable and public schools throughout Berkshire County, I thank these students for stepping up to the challenge of creating a better Berkshires for everyone. I am grateful to their families, their teachers, and their schools for seeing this need and being partners in the work. I am grateful to Phil Fogelman and his expert team from the Boston Anti-Defamation League for their leadership, guidance, and dedication. Finally, I thank Dara Kaufman and the Jewish Federation of the Berkshires, and each of you gathered in this room right now for your generous and vital support of the World of Difference program. You are making our community and our world a better place. You are teaching all of us to love ourselves and to love our neighbors. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "It isn't enough to talk about peace. One must believe in it. And it isn't enough to believe in it. One must work at it." Thank you for being believers in and workers for peace. And thank you for helping create a generation of interferers for the good of humankind. Thank you for helping make a world of difference.